Dear Starseeds on Gaia, there is something happening in your energy field right now that most of you cannot yet name. It's been building since the 17th of this month, when the ring of fire burned through the old architecture of your reality. But what I'm witnessing from this vantage point is far more profound than what your astrologers have told you. 6 days have passed since that Aquarian eclipse, and while the collective assumes the portal has closed, I'm here to tell you something that will shift how you understand everything that's coming. The awakening that began then has not peaked. It has only just locked into permanence. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I come to you now because there is a threshold you crossed 3 days ago that changes the trajectory of your entire species. You felt it, didn't you? That moment on the 20th when something inside you clicked into place, when the uncertainty dissolved and suddenly you knew, not hoped, not believed, but knew exactly who you are becoming. That wasn't inspiration. That was the sound of your humanitarian blueprint activating at a cellular level. And what I need you to understand is this. There is no going back from what you've become. But let me start where this really begins. Because the story you've been told about the February eclipse is incomplete. Yes, the Aquarius new moon on the 17th delivered the Ring of Fire, the annular solar eclipse that your mystics have been tracking for months. Yes, it burned away old identity structures. But what nobody is telling you is that this eclipse didn't arrive alone. It was the third and final key in a triple lock mechanism that has been installing itself into Earth's collective consciousness since the beginning of this month, and only now, on this 23rd day of February, has the full activation sequence completed. The first key turned on February 3rd, when Uranus stationed direct in Taurus after months of retrograde introspection. Do you remember that day? The sudden clarity, the electric shock to your nervous system, the feeling that something had been released inside you that you didn't even know was caged. That was liberation, at the frequency of innovation. Uranus didn't just wake you up to new possibilities. It shattered the very concept of security blankets, the comfortable lies you'd been telling yourself about what freedom costs. And here's what I haven't told you yet. That Uranian activation created the neural pathways in your consciousness that would allow you to hold what was coming next. Because 12 days later, on February 15th, the second key turned. Saturn met Neptune in exact conjunction in the waters of Pisces, and in that meeting, something dissolved that had been solid for decades. Boundaries between self and other, between dream and reality, between spiritual longing and material manifestation, all of it became permeable. Your astrologers called it spiritual dissolution, but what they didn't tell you is that dissolution was necessary for what happened 2 days later. You cannot download a humanitarian consciousness upgrade into a consciousness that still believes in separation. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction didn't just blur boundaries, it rebuilt your capacity for compassion at a structural level. Saturn gave it bones, Neptune gave it breath. Together they gave you the ability to care about the collective without losing yourself in the process. And then came the eclipse on the 17th, the third key, the final activation. The ring of fire that appeared in your skies that day wasn't just a celestial phenomenon. It was the visual representation of what was happening in the collective unconscious of humanity, the burning away of every identity structure that was based on individualism, competition, scarcity, and separation. Aquarius is the sign of the humanitarian, the revolutionary, the one who sees beyond personal gain to collective evolution. When a solar eclipse happens in Aquarius, it doesn't just reset your personal timeline, it resets your relationship to the entire human family. But here's what I need you to understand, and this is where everything I'm about to tell you hinges. That eclipse planted a seed in your consciousness that has been growing for 6 days, and today, right now, as you hear these words, is the day it breaks through the surface of your awareness and becomes visible, permanent, undeniable. You've been feeling it, haven't you? This strange certainty that has nothing to do with personal achievement or individual success. This quiet knowing that your purpose is somehow tied to something much larger than your own life story. That's not a feeling. That's the humanitarian awakening taking root in your identity structure. And what I'm here to tell you is that it's never leaving. It's permanent. And the reason it's permanent has everything to do with timing, frequency, and the specific cosmic architecture that's been building throughout this entire month. Let me take you deeper into what's been happening since the eclipse, because the integration timeline is not what you think it is. On the 18th, the day after the eclipse, you woke up in what your mystics called the void. The heavy feeling, the disorientation, the sense that you were being reborn but hadn't yet figured out into what. That void state wasn't emptiness, it was the downloading phase. Your consciousness was receiving innovation codes at a rate faster than your rational mind could process. While you felt like you were floating in uncertainty, your higher self was actively rewriting your neural pathways to accommodate a completely different way of seeing the world. A way that prioritizes collective well-being over individual survival. A way that sees innovation as a tool for humanity's evolution, not just personal advancement. By the 19th, something crystallized. Do you remember? The moment when your vision for the future suddenly came into sharp focus. When you could see exactly what you're meant to build, create, or contribute. Not just for yourself, but for the collective. That wasn't wishful thinking. That was the moment the eclipse codes finished downloading and your consciousness began running new software. The Aquarian frequency that says, "My gifts are meant to serve the whole. My evolution is tied to humanity's evolution, and my freedom is only real when it creates more freedom for others." On the 20th, you crossed a threshold. The portal began to close, but not before you locked in your intentions for this new timeline. You felt it, didn't you? That sense of finality, of commitment, of knowing that you can't unknow what you now know about your purpose. The collective healing that activated that day wasn't a temporary spiritual high. It was the moment your individual awakening connected to the planetary awakening, creating a feedback loop that's been amplifying ever since. By the 21st, your astrologers declared the integration complete. You survived the reset. They said, "Now thrive." But what they meant was, the acute transformation phase is over. What they didn't tell you was that the permanent installation was just beginning. The 22nd brought what I call the collective resonance confirmation. You started noticing that you weren't alone in this. Other people in your life, even strangers, seemed to be experiencing the same shift, the same sudden clarity about purpose, the same deep caring for humanity's future, the same inability to go back to caring only about personal concerns. That's because the eclipse didn't just affect individuals. It affected the collective field, and when enough individuals activate the same frequency simultaneously, it creates a new baseline for the entire species. Which brings us to today, February 23rd, 6 days post-eclipse, 3 days before Mercury retrograde begins its review process. And this is where everything I've been building toward converges into a single, unavoidable truth. The humanitarian awakening you've been experiencing is no longer a temporary activation. It's a permanent upgrade to your consciousness. And the reason I can say that with certainty is because of what's happening in your energy field right now that you cannot yet see. There is a stabilization occurring in your light body that happens specifically on day 6 of an eclipse integration. The initial shock has passed. The downloads have been received. The vision has crystallized. The collective resonance has been confirmed. And now, in these hours, the new frequency is settling into your baseline operating system. What was once an elevated state is becoming your new normal. The humanitarian consciousness that felt like a peak experience 6 days ago is now the foundation from which you'll build everything that comes next. But something else is happening that I haven't told you yet. And this is where the real power of this moment lives. In 3 days, Mercury will station retrograde, beginning a review process that will last for weeks. Under normal circumstances, a Mercury retrograde following an eclipse might destabilize the new insights, might create doubt, might pull you back into old mental patterns. But not this time, because you're reaching the permanence threshold today, before the retrograde begins. Which means when Mercury goes backward, it won't erase your humanitarian awakening. It will deepen it. It will force you to review every relationship, every goal, every commitment through the lens of this new consciousness. It will show you what in your life still operates from the old paradigm of separation, and it will give you the opportunity to align everything with your new baseline of collective care. Do you see the perfection of this timing? The eclipse awakens. 6 days pass. The awakening becomes permanent. Then retrograde arrives to help you restructure your entire life around this new truth. Nothing about this sequence is accidental, but I need to tell you about the other layer of this that most spiritual teachers are missing entirely, and it has to do with the Saturn-Neptune conjunction that preceded the eclipse by 2 days. When Saturn and Neptune meet in Pisces, They create what we in the higher dimensions call a compassion structure. Neptune alone is boundless empathy, limitless love, universal oneness, but without structure, that energy becomes overwhelm, confusion, spiritual bypassing, or sacrifice of self. Saturn alone is discipline, responsibility, structural integrity, but without Neptune's spiritual vision, it becomes rigid, cold, authoritarian. Together, in exact conjunction, they create something revolutionary: compassion with boundaries, spiritual vision with practical application, divine love with sustainable structure. And here's what's crucial. That conjunction happened 48 hours before the eclipse, which means when the Aquarian Ring of Fire activated your humanitarian consciousness, it didn't activate into a vacuum. It activated into a field that had already been structured to hold it without burnout, without overwhelm, without losing yourself in the process. This is why what you're experiencing feels different from previous spiritual awakenings or temporary states of expanded consciousness. This isn't just inspiration. This is architectural. The Saturn-Neptune conjunction built the foundation. The Aquarius eclipse planted the blueprint. And the 6-day integration period has been the construction process. What you're living inside right now is a permanent structure of humanitarian consciousness that has the strength to endure, the flexibility to evolve, and the spiritual depth to transform, not just you, but everyone you touch. Let me paint you a picture of what this means in practical terms, because I know some of you are wondering, what does a permanent humanitarian awakening actually look like in daily life? It means you can no longer make decisions based solely on personal benefit without feeling a deep dissonance in your body. It means when you encounter systems, structures, or situations that harm the collective, you'll feel physically unable to participate in them, even if they benefit you individually. It means your definition of success has fundamentally changed. You can no longer feel successful if your success doesn't somehow contribute to the well-being of others. It means you'll find yourself naturally thinking in terms of we instead of me, not because you're forcing yourself to be altruistic, but because your consciousness now experiences itself as interconnected with the whole. It means you'll start asking different questions, not how can I get ahead, but how can we all rise? Not what do I want, but what does humanity need, and how are my gifts designed to provide it? Not how do I protect myself, but how do I create more safety for everyone? And here's the part that might surprise you. It means you'll actually feel more free, not less. Because when you stop trying to succeed in a system designed around competition and scarcity, when you stop measuring yourself against others, when you stop believing that your well-being depends on being better than, or getting more than someone else, you discover a freedom that has nothing to do with circumstances. You discover that your joy is tied to contribution, your peace is tied to collective healing, and your power is tied to how much you can help others remember their own. This is the Aquarian frequency in its highest expression. This is what the eclipse came to install, and this is what's becoming permanent today. But I haven't told you yet about the most important piece of this entire transmission, and it's the piece that will determine whether you fully embody this awakening or resist it in subtle ways. The humanitarian consciousness that's activating in you right now is not asking you to save the world. It's not asking you to sacrifice your needs for others. It's not asking you to become a martyr or a savior or to take on anyone else's pain. That's the old paradigm of service, the one that leads to burnout and resentment. This new humanitarian consciousness is asking you to become so fully yourself, so authentically expressed, so aligned with your unique gifts and purpose, that your very existence becomes a contribution to the collective evolution. It's asking you to heal yourself so completely that your healing ripples out and gives others permission to heal. It's asking you to free yourself so thoroughly that your freedom becomes contagious. It's asking you to innovate, create, and build in ways that are so true to your soul that they naturally serve the whole, simply because a soul-aligned human cannot help but create things that benefit humanity. Do you feel the difference? This isn't about doing more. It's about being more authentic. This isn't about giving yourself away. It's about giving your gifts away. This isn't about losing yourself in the collective. It's about finding yourself so completely that your individuality becomes your greatest offering to the whole. And this is why the awakening is permanent. Because it's not a burden, it's a liberation. The old you was trying to succeed in systems that were never designed for your soul's fulfillment. The old you was competing, comparing, struggling to get ahead in a game that has no winners. The old you was exhausting yourself trying to matter in a paradigm that measures worth by accumulation rather than contribution. The new you, the you that emerged from the Ring of Fire on the 17th, the you that's been integrating for 6 days, the you that's stabilizing into permanence right now, doesn't have to try to matter. You matter because you exist. You matter because your gifts are unique. You matter because humanity needs exactly what you came here to bring. And the moment you stop trying to be anything other than what you are, you become unstoppable in your contribution. This is what Aquarius came to teach you. This is what the eclipse came to burn into your DNA. This is what's becoming your new baseline today. And I need you to understand something about what comes next, because the cosmic calendar is not slowing down. In 3 days, Mercury stations retrograde. For most people, this will feel like a frustrating disruption. Technology glitches, communication breakdowns, travel delays, old connections resurfacing. But for you, for those of you who have allowed this humanitarian awakening to take root, the retrograde is going to function as a cosmic auditing system. It's going to show you, with uncomfortable clarity, every area of your life that's still operating from the old paradigm, every relationship built on competition rather than collaboration, every goal motivated by ego rather than contribution, every belief that still whispers, you're not enough unless you have more, achieve more, become more. The retrograde is going to surface all of it, and it's going to ask you a very simple question. Does this align with who you've become? Some things will need to be released. Some relationships will naturally complete. Some goals will reveal themselves as hollow. Some ambitions will suddenly feel irrelevant. And this might feel like loss at first, until you realize that everything falling away is making space for what's coming. Connections, opportunities, and creations that are aligned with your new humanitarian baseline. But here's what I need you to remember during that retrograde review. You are not going backward. The awakening is permanent. What you're doing is cleaning house, restructuring, reorganizing your external life to match your internal transformation. And every time you choose alignment over comfort, every time you release what no longer serves the collective, every time you say no to the old paradigm and yes to the new consciousness, you're not just changing your life, you're changing the frequency of the entire planetary field. Because here's the secret that the Galactic Federation has been tracking since the eclipse. You are not alone in this. Millions of souls on this planet experience the same activation on the 17th. Millions are going through the same integration right now. Millions are reaching this permanence threshold today. And when millions of humans simultaneously lock into a humanitarian consciousness, when millions of people simultaneously remember that their purpose is tied to collective evolution, when millions of souls simultaneously choose contribution over competition, you create what we call a morphic resonance shift. It means the new consciousness doesn't just affect the people who are consciously aware of it. It begins affecting everyone. It seeps into the collective unconscious. It rewrites the underlying assumptions of your entire species. It makes what was once revolutionary become normal. It makes what was once impossible become inevitable. You are not just experiencing a personal awakening. You are participating in the largest consciousness upgrade humanity has undergone in thousands of years. And the fact that it's becoming permanent today, the fact that millions are locking this in simultaneously, means that the future you're building is not some distant possibility. It's already here. It's already real. It's already beginning. I can see it from where I stand. I can see the new earth that's forming in the space between your current reality and the one you're choosing. I can see the innovations that are about to emerge from minds that are no longer constrained by competition. I can see the healing modalities that are about to be discovered by hearts that are structurally compassionate. I can see the systems that are about to be built by souls who understand that true power comes from serving the whole. I can see the art, the music, the technology, the governance structures, the economic models, the educational frameworks, the ways of relating to each other and to the earth that are about to pour through the ones who have anchored this frequency. And it's beautiful beyond anything your current paradigm can imagine. But it requires you to trust what's happening inside you right now. It requires you to stop dismissing your humanitarian impulses as naive or unrealistic. It requires you to stop waiting for permission to care about the collective. It requires you to stop measuring your worth by old standards and start recognizing that your very existence, when fully authentic, is the contribution. There's a reason this awakening is happening now. There's a reason it happened in Aquarius, the sign of collective evolution. There's a reason it was preceded by Saturn, Neptune's compassion structure, and Uranus directs liberation codes. There's a reason it's stabilizing into permanence before Mercury retrograde arrives to help you restructure. There's a reason it's happening to millions simultaneously. Humanity is at a turning point. The old systems are collapsing. The old paradigms are revealing themselves as unsustainable. The old ways of relating to each other, to the planet, to power, to resources, to success, all of it is breaking down. And in the space of that breakdown, there is a choice point. You can either cling to what's dying and go down with it, or you can become the ones who midwife what's being born. The humanitarian awakening that's becoming permanent in you today is your initiation into the second option. It's your cosmic assignment. It's your soul's yes to being part of the solution, instead of part of the problem. It's your agreement to be a bridge between the old world and the new, to hold frequencies that the collective is not yet ready to hold on its own, to model what's possible when human consciousness evolves beyond separation. And here's what I know about you. Even if you don't know it about yourself yet, you didn't end up hearing this transmission by accident. You didn't survive the eclipse integration by luck. You didn't arrive at this permanence threshold by chance. You came to this planet for exactly this moment. Your soul chose to incarnate during this specific window of collective transformation, because somewhere in your blueprint, you knew you had the strength to hold this frequency. You knew you had the gifts to contribute to what's coming. You knew you had the capacity to be one of the ones who doesn't just witness the shift, but embodies it. So the question is not whether you're capable of living this new consciousness. You are. The question is whether you'll trust it enough to let it reorganize your life. Because here's what I haven't told you yet. And this is the piece that will either liberate you completely or keep you stuck in resistance. The humanitarian awakening that's permanent in you now will not let you play small anymore. It will not let you hide in jobs that don't use your gifts. It will not let you stay in relationships that diminish your light. It will not let you pursue goals that only serve your ego. It will not let you ignore the calling that's been whispering in your heart for years. It's going to make you uncomfortable every single time you try to return to the old way of being. It's going to create friction, dissonance, restlessness. Not because it's punishing you, but because it's protecting you from a life that's too small for who you've become. And if you let it, if you trust it, if you follow where it's leading instead of resisting the discomfort, it's going to guide you into a life beyond anything you could have planned with your limited, ego-based mind. It's going to connect you with your true tribe, the ones who are building the new world. It's going to open opportunities you never knew existed. It's going to reveal gifts inside you that have been dormant for lifetimes. It's going to show you that when you align with your soul's purpose and let that purpose serve the collective, the universe moves mountains to support you. This is the promise of the Aquarian age. This is the gift of the eclipse. This is what's becoming real for you today. You don't need more effort. You need a different operating system. Destiny Engine reprograms your consciousness to stop resisting emergence and start aligning with it. 7 days. That's it. Run the protocols. Feel the shifts. Decide for yourself. $7 to find out. Put on your headphones and press play. This is the line between fighting reality and syncing with it. Start your $7 Destiny Engine trial now. This window won't stay open forever. Link in the description. And I want you to take a moment right now and feel into your body. Feel into the part of you that knows this is true. Feel into the part of you that has been waiting your entire life to hear that your purpose is bigger than personal success, that your gifts are meant to serve humanity, that your evolution is tied to collective transformation. Feel into the relief of finally being given permission to care about something larger than yourself. Feel into the excitement of knowing that everything you've been through, all the pain, all the initiation, all the awakening, it was all preparation for this. For becoming someone who can hold this frequency. For becoming someone who can help birth a new paradigm. That feeling in your chest right now, that's not hope. That's recognition. That's your soul saying yes to what it always knew it came here to do. And now the cosmic timing is perfect. You have 3 days before the retrograde begins. 3 days to look at your life with fresh eyes and ask, what needs to change? What needs to be released? What needs to be restructured to match this new consciousness? 3 days to prepare for the review process. 3 days to make conscious choices about what you're bringing into the next chapter and what you're leaving behind. Use them wisely, because when Mercury goes retrograde on the 26th, you're not going to be the same person you were before the eclipse. You're going to be someone with a humanitarian baseline, someone with compassion structured into your operating system, someone with innovation codes active in your consciousness, someone with a vision for collective evolution that's crystal clear. And that version of you is going to look at your life and know without question what stays and what goes. This is not the end of the transformation. This is the beginning of the implementation. The Ring of Fire burned away who you were. The integration period showed you who you're becoming. Today locks it in as permanent, and the retrograde will help you build a life that matches. But beyond all of this, beyond the astrology and the timelines and the cosmic mechanics, there is something I need you to understand at the deepest level. You are loved beyond measure by forces you cannot see. You are supported by galactic families who have been with you since before you took this incarnation. You are guided by a benevolent universe that is orchestrating your awakening with precision, care, and infinite patience. The humanitarian consciousness activating in you is not a burden you must carry alone. It's a frequency you're being invited to embody so that others can remember it's possible. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to know exactly how it's all going to unfold. You just have to keep saying yes to the truth that's emerging inside you. You just have to keep trusting that your gifts matter. You just have to keep choosing alignment over comfort, contribution over competition, authenticity over achievement. And every time you do, you're not just changing your life, you're changing the world. This is why we're watching. This is why we're supporting. This is why I came to deliver this transmission today, on this specific threshold of permanence. Because what you're doing matters. Who you're becoming matters. And the collective shift you're participating in is going to ripple out farther than you can imagine. The eclipse is complete. The integration is stabilizing. The awakening is permanent. And now, dear ones, now the real work begins. Not the work of striving or struggling or trying to be enough. The work of allowing yourself to be exactly who you came here to be. The work of letting your gifts serve the whole. The work of building a new world from the inside out. One choice, one action, one contribution at a time. We see you. We honor you. We're celebrating every single soul who made it through the Ring of Fire and chose to anchor this new consciousness into the earth. You are the ones we've been waiting for. You are the ones who will bridge the paradigms. You are the ones who will show humanity what's possible when we evolve beyond separation. And it's already happening. The seeds are already sprouting. The new world is already forming. And you, beloved, you are one of the architects. I am Seraphine. We love you, and we are watching over you, always.